Hi everyone and welcome to Coach's Corner. My name's Andy Bortz and can you believe it? We're already in our 5th episode of Coach's Corner in this young football season, already halfway through it. And here to talk some football today is Westminster College head coach Jeff Hand. Coach, thanks again for being back on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
You know, that win against Teal last weekend was pretty big for you guys because it's your first win in the pack. Do you think this is a big stepping point for you guys?
Well, it's definitely great to get a victory under our belt and starting the PAC schedule.
Well, we're going to see how that victory was attained with our first half highlights right now. Take a look. There's no place like home for the Westminster Titans, undefeated at Harold-Burry Stadium this season, looking for win number 3 on their brand new turf. But it's the Teal Tomcats with the ball first, and Cody Sergi going to rush the ball here for 1 yard, but it's the Titans doing the damage on the offense. Kevin Franz finds Nick McCloskey in open field. That's dangerous for any defense, and McCloskey gets a nice 25-yard gain out of that one. Now we go to the second quarter. Bryce Murdiff had a decent game for Teal, rushing for 5 yards there to the 18-yard line of Westminster. That's going to set up this John Madeline field goal from 36 yards. It's good, and in all 5 games the Titans have played this season, the opponent has scored first. Let's see if they can respond. Nick McCloskey, boom, 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 hurling defenders out of his way and getting to cross the 40-yard line. Nick McCloskey with a big game. Kevin Franz had a big game too, finding Chad Rossitelli in open space and getting himself a nice gain of 18 yards. That sets up this Fred Romeo field goal from 30 yards. It's good, and the game is tied in the second quarter. So let's see if the Titans can put some more points on. Nick McCloskey once again carrying people on his back, getting 12 yards on that play and getting down to the Westminster 26. Kevin Franz, though, finding Chad Rossitelli once again, and go ahead, Chad. You can signal that first down. There you go. But he's going to get a lot more than that on this play. Chad Rossitelli splitting the defenders and scoring the first Titan touchdown of the game, putting them up 10-3. So now it's Teal's turn to try and respond. Willie Bova had a pretty tough first half, but he started to pick it up here late in the half, and he completes this impossible 40-yard pass downfield to KJ Smith, and here's the mistake. Intercepted by Corey Meeker, and the first interception of the season for him. He returns at 27 yards all the way down to the 34-yard line. So let's see if the Titans can put some points on here quick before half. Kevin Franz once again in the shotgun looking downfield, but no, a shovel pass to Nick McCloskey, and he goes for 21 yards. So now it's time for the Hail Mary. They bring in Sean Lahaki because he's got a stronger arm, throwing off his back foot into traffic, and no. But the Titans got to be satisfied because they're heading into the locker room with a 10-3 lead at halftime. Coach Hand, the Tomcats came into this game at an 0-4 record, but they had some really close games against good teams like Geneva and lost by only 10 to W&J. How does that affect strategy when they're coming into the game? They have no wins on their resume, but they are able to keep those games close.
Well, we knew that they were a good football team, and and I think that they proved that they are a quality football team, and we just didn't want to be on the opposite end of that, and be able to say, well, we played them tough, and we wanted to be victorious, and that was something that we knew that we were going to have to respect them.
And that Teal offense looked like it was really struggling in the first half, especially in the passing game. Can you talk a little bit about how the defense adjusted itself to be able to defend the pass as well as they did in that first half?
Well, I think we played better pass defense. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I thought that, and I still do. I still respect their quarterback and their passing game. And they're a great offense, and they, fortunately for us, dropped some balls too when they were open.
And they saw the defense also forcing some turnovers for you guys. How important is that when you're heading into some more of these big pack games late in the season here?
Oh, absolutely. Those turnovers are huge, and Corey stepped up big, and he's continuing to get better each week, and step in front of that pass, and and that was a great play and great timing of the play as well.
Now, in the first half, the fans were kind of holding their breath a little bit when Jake Martinez went down. What's his status? Is he going to be able to play against Waynesburg?
So Jake is. We don't have an official status yet, and right now, I would list him definitely as doubtful at best for Saturday's game.
Now let's talk about the offense a little bit, because there were a lot more big plays in the first half than I think we were used to seeing out of the Titan squad, but we saw lots of those big plays coming from Nick McCloskey, not only on the ground, but he was able to get in open space and really do some damage with the ball. Can we see Nick McCloskey get more involved with the passing game as we're halfway through the season here?
Well, I think that Nick does a great job of getting involved with the passing game. I mean, partly, that's due to, just him being disciplined and him getting into his routes and doing what he needs to do as far as, his check releases out of the backfield. And he's always been a huge part of our offense in the screen game for sure.
And we're going to have your quarterback, Kevin Franz, on later in the show, but he set a record for highest number of completions in a Westminster Titan uniform for a college career. How special is it to be able to witness a record like that?
Well, it's great, and it's something that we look forward to, game by game, and we continue almost series by series that we're going to add to that. We're going to add to that record, and and it was it's great to kind of have it out of the way, and so we can focus and move forward and continue to get more and more completions.
Now, that weekend I was calling the game with Scooter Renninger, and he's a character, and he was commenting a lot about how it seemed like many of those pass completions were the result of play action and how effective that was for your offense. How much of a factor is it when you had the running game going so well in that first half as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Kevin's always had a great completion percentage, and we know that his completion percentage is going to be better when we're able to do our entire offense. Our run game, our play action pass, our three-step game, our five-step game, and our screen game.
Is there any concern with letting the opposing team scoring first? Because that's happened in all 5 games as we saw in the highlights. Any concern down the road with that?
Well, it's always a concern. I mean, it's not by design that we come out and we want to spot the team, the safety or a touchdown or field goal, whatever the case is. That's not the design. We need to come out and start strong.
Okay, Coach, we're going to see what the Titans did in the second half of their 3rd home game of the season against the Teal Tomcats. The second half was a pretty good one for the Titans, and Kevin Franz continued his big day. Already set a record in this game by becoming the all-time leader with number of completions, 497 for a college career. He's driving his Titans downfield, but Fred Romeo's 33-yard field goal attempt gets blocked. He came into the game 5 of 6 from field goal range, including 1 in that game. But Nick McCloskey doing what he does best on the ground. 159 all-purpose yards for him. And Kevin Franz had himself a great game, too. He threw for 270 yards. That's 1 yard more than all of Teal's offense combined. And this pass was definitely the play of the game. Kevin Franz finding John Bomber with a diving catch, 32-yard touchdown, the first for John Bomber in his career, and it puts the Titans up 16-3. Romeo ended up missing the extra point, so now Willie Bova looking downfield and finding Tim Van Horn, a 20-yard gain, and once again, Bova this time stepping up in the pocket, looking deep downfield once again, and finding Van Horn this time for 32 yards, and to the end zone now, finding Cody Sergi. That's a 2-yard touchdown, and the Tomcats keeping it interesting, and the fans are thinking to themselves, oh boy, it's going to be close again, and it's coming down to an onside kick. The Tomcats touch the ball, it doesn't go 10 yards, and then it rolls out of bounds, and that's where this one ends. The Titans take a big one at home, 16-10. Coach, every home game this season, and all 3 of them have been so exciting for the fans, but when you're on the sideline, is that excitement, or is that a little bit nerve-wracking when the game gets that close in the waning stages?
Oh, what do you think, Andy? I mean, it's definitely nerve-wracking. I mean, you have to have confidence that we're going to pull it out in the end, and that's the belief in one another, and belief in your teammates, and belief in the team. But it does get nerve-wracking on the sideline.
And it seemed like in this transition from the first half to the second half that the passing game for Teal really started to pick up, and they were getting some big plays through the air, especially with Willie Bova passing that ball to Tim Van Horn twice for 2 gains of 20-plus yards. What did they do differently in the second half that really got the defense having to get on their toes?
Well, I think they just realized that they were struggling running the ball, and they had to go to the air a little bit more. And anytime you go to the air a little bit more, is there's chances for some bigger plays to happen, and they did a nice job. You got to give them credit.
You talk about big plays. I think in the whole game, everybody's favorite play is going to have to be that diving catch for the touchdown from John Bomber. And, he's had such a great season so far, just coming in there and getting used to the offensive set. Rate his performance and talk about what a catch like that does as far as his outlook on his effort.
Well, he has great effort all the time. I mean, there's no one that's ever going to question John's effort, and he's a great football player, and he's continuing to get better at the receiver position. He caught that pass, and it was a great pass, and it was a great catch and great protection, and it was our opportunity to take advantage of their aggressiveness, because we were able to run the ball a little bit more than probably they would have liked on them. So it was well timed as well.
And it didn't look like you guys were abandoning your offensive strategy either in that second half. Talk about what Teal continued to struggle with when you guys were really getting going on offense.
Well, I think that they were a little frustrated that we were able to run the ball, even though we didn't rush the ball super well. It was they thought, I believe, that they were going to completely shut the run down in certain ways, and they weren't able to, so they started to get a little bit more nosy on that.
Now you're undefeated at home, and a big road game coming up this weekend against Waynesburg. It's a packed game, and you guys can pick up your second pack win. Talk about how that home field advantage really helps, and what can you do at home that would also work on the road to help you guys get a win.
Well, I think that the number one thing is just playing as a team, offense, defense, special teams, and when one phase isn't getting the job done as well as they could have, the other phase is stepping up, and that's what great teams do.
Okay, now that we're halfway through the season, you guys are obviously starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm, offense and defense. What do you guys think you have to do to become contenders for that PAC championship?
Well, the number one thing is get a win on Saturday, and as we stressed all week, this is an opportunity for us to get a win against a team that really not many people expect us to beat them coming into the year and coming into this game even. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to get that type of a win.
And talk quickly about your special teams too, because Fred Romeo again stepping up, making field goals. What's it like to have that as a part of your game now?
Well, it's a big part of our game, and the small concerns we have with protection, are something that we need to shore up. But that just like in all the other phases, when there's been a concern, we come back and we address it, and it's hopefully never a concern again.
Okay, Coach, we're going to talk with you again a little bit later in the show. We've got our player Kevin Franz coming up, and also your PAC report. Stick around. Your broadcasting career off and rolling? Then it's time to explore your options by being a part of Titan Radio at Westminster College.
We try to run the radio station as closely as what might be found in the real world.
There's student anchors, student reporters, student producers.
It's really hands-on, and you learn a lot your first year.
From keeping the community informed,
I'm Pamela Marlowe with the Titan Radio News Update,
to keeping the community entertained.
Maroon 5, going out on tour again.
You'll get all the radio experience you could ask for, and more, only at Westminster College.
If we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
But a vehicle is more than price.
A whole lot more.
Gio Crivelli consistently invests in manpower, training, and equipment to deliver car buyers peace of mind.
From our state-of-the-art repair and service garage to our award-winning auto body repair center, Gio Crivelli is prepared to earn your trust.
Gas, stingy, and pallor to rugged Silverado, Gio Crivelli Chevrolet, Route 18, Newcastle.
And remember, if we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
Good evening, football fans, and welcome to another edition of PAC Report. It was a week of spoiled homecomings for 3 PAC teams, the biggest upset being W&J's rout of Geneva in front of nearly 6,000 fans at Reeves Field. The Presidents manhandled the Golden Tornadoes on their homecoming weekend 43-13. W&J QB Bobby Swallow and his offense scored right out of the gate, connecting on a 34-yard touchdown scoring pass to Luke Espy to put the Presidents up 7-0. After Geneva punt, Swallow drilled another TD pass, this one a 63-yarder to wideout Craig Bisong to give the Presidents a 14-0 lead. W&J extended its lead midway through the second quarter when Swallow found running back Derek Taylor open over the middle for a 28-yard screen pass and another President touchdown. Geneva was able to answer when David Girardi found Matt Barge for a 4-yard pass into the end zone off of an 80-yard to cap off an 80-yard scoring drive fueled by Matt Dean's 50-yard run on the kickoff. Geneva tried to run out the clock in the final minutes of the half, but a sack by W&J linebacker John Fay resulted in a David Girardi fumble. Swallow and company took over at the Geneva 30-yard line and capitalized 2 plays later with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Bisong to put the Presidents ahead 28-7. W&J started out the second half the same as they did the first, with a touchdown, of course. This one a 4-yard run by Kurt Jones, but the Golden Tornadoes would go on to score just once more on a blocked punt and a 1-yard touchdown run from Matt Dean to cut the deficit to 35-14. From there, it was smooth sailing for the Presidents as they went on to secure the huge victory. Pack Offensive Player of the Week Craig Bisong led the way for the Presidents with 213 yards, making that performance the second best in W&J history. The undefeated Presidents have a bye this week while Geneva heads to Grove City. Speaking of Grove City, the Wolverines continued their homecoming spoilers this weekend when they defeated St. Vincent 27-12 on Saturday. The Wolverines wasted no time scoring on a 2-yard run by Brian Mercer. After a Grove City fumble by Stephen Mercer, the Bearcats took over on the Wolverine 30-yard line. However, a sack by Ian Minster, which resulted in a 9-yard loss, pushed the Bearcats back and forced Aaron Jones to kick a field goal for St. Vincent. Grove City's Zach Fulmer picked off a Jake Smith pass and raced 60 yards downfield for the Wolverine touchdown. Grove City added to its lead on the first possession of the second half with a 15-yard touchdown pass from Andrew DiDonato to Brian Mercer, putting the Wolverines up by 16. St. Vincent racked up another field goal on a 37-yarder from Aaron Jones, but Grove City could not be stopped. On the next drive, DiDonato fired a 21-yard pass to Zach Summey into the end zone. Grove City went for the 2-point conversion and succeeded. St. Vincent tried to put up one last stand in the fourth quarter, but it was too little, too late for the Bearcats as the Wolverines got away with a W. Andrew DiDonato led the way for the Wolverines with 161 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Bearcat QB Jake Smith paced St. Vincent with 141 yards. Grove City will host Geneva on Saturday, while St. Vincent will take the long trip from Latrobe down to Kentucky to take on the Saints of Thomas More. Thomas More also wrapped up the week of homecoming upsets as they routed Bethany 42-12. The Saints never trailed in the game, jumping out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter off of an Anthony Knott 40-yard touchdown run and a 4-yard push into the end zone by Cordario Collier. Bethany got 3 on the board off of an Evan Placey, a field goal from 26 yards out. The Saints answered on the kickoff as kick returner Deuce Doucette, just a freshman, dashed 83 yards for a touchdown to increase Thomas More's lead to 3. Bethany fired back on their next possession as Matt Cruz nabbed a 55-yard pass from Chad Smith to cut the lead to 11. Thomas More scored once more before halftime when Stellman pulled a quarterback sneak and ran into the end zone from 1 yard out. A defensive third quarter only produced an Evan Placey a 25-yard field goal to give Bethany 12. Thomas More ran away with the game, though, in the fourth quarter with 2 final scores to put the icing on the cake for the Saints' victory. Deuce Doucette was the star of the game, racking up 146 yards on kick returns, including his 83-yard touchdown run. He was also voted PAC Special Teams Player of the Week. Bethany was led by QB Chad Smith, who tallied 288 yards. Thomas More will host St. Vincent on Saturday, while Bethany will take on winless Teal. Now let's take a look at the PAC standings here. Thomas More still sits atop the PAC, but W&J continues to dominate as the Presidents are ranked 9th in all of Division III and are currently undefeated. Grove City and your Westminster Titans are tied for 3rd, while Waynesburg sits at an even 500 overall at 4th. Bethany is in 5th, and the real downfall in the PAC is still winless Teal. Provisional Division III and PAC members Geneva and St. Vincent are also in the standings with 1-4 and 1-3 overall records respectively. And now for the NFL Pick'em Challenge. Coach Hand, Andy, and myself made our picks for Pittsburgh's nail-biter win over the Jacksonville Jaguars and Minnesota's thrilling 30-27 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Here's the results. I finally caught up to Coach Hand at 5. Andy still sits at 1. Don't worry, Andy. Making picks does not seem as easy as the Las Vegas odds makers make it out to look. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Pack Report. Don't touch that dial. The County Line is coming up tonight with all the latest Titan and local high school sports scores. Stay tuned. More Coach's Corner is on the way.
Do you want to learn how to broadcast a big game just like the pros at ESPN? If so, the Broadcast Communications Department at Westminster College is where you need to be. At Westminster, you learn what it takes to be live out in the field. Westminster lets you learn all aspects, from behind the scenes in the truck, directing and running instant replay, to filming the action with a camera or announcing play-by-play. So if you want hands-on, live experience, check out the Broadcast Communications major at Westminster College. For more information, visit us online at titanradio.net.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Andy Bortz, and I have a guest with me who might not be able to help me with my NFL Pick'em Challenge score, but he definitely has helped the Titans to 3 wins so far this season on the home field. He wears number 17, and he's the quarterback, Kevin Franz. Kevin, glad you could be a part of the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Talk about your last game against Teal, because you set a record number of completions in a Titan uniform for a career, and you also jumped into second place all-time in passing yards. What's it like to be in elite company like that from so many of the historic Titan players here?
I mean, it's definitely a special honor. Just playing each game and not really looking at the stats, just let them come. But, it's all about the W's. And we're 3-2 now, and we're looking ahead. But, that comes from the offensive line blocking, receivers catching, and the running game working. So, I mean, it's everybody that's included with some of these records that's going to be
You definitely had a lot of help, though, Kevin. I mean, a lot of people, as you talk about, helping you out. But thinking of all your accomplishments, I mean, all you've done, you're just a junior. How have you matured as a quarterback going through all these years and being able to be where you are right now?
Like my freshman year, I kind of got thrown in there. And it was definitely a learning experience, game from game, it was different, saw different defenses, and, it was just a new experience. Last year, was more experienced, and now this year, I feel like becoming a leader and just knowing the offense just as well as the coaches do, in and outs of everything we're going to do, and just the knowledge of the game has increased every year.
Now I want to talk about how you are spreading the ball around so well in all of the games this season, and a lot of your receiving squad's stepping up. Talk about how big it is to see those guys putting out their best effort to help you out, because they are really doing a great job this year on the receiving squad.
They've done a great job. I mean, from the tight ends, from Gary and Jack getting involved, from the X, we got Goobs, Chad, and Balosh, and even John Palmer coming in. And then Nicky at running back being a great threat out of the backfield. Each guy just picking up their game, and it's easy to distribute the ball when you got 7 guys that are making plays.
Now, I remember last season was the first time I actually started calling Titan football, and I remember you and Brett Ziegler were pretty much one of the best combinations in the entire pack. How much did you learn from him, not just on the field, but as a friend?
No, Brett Ziegler was a great player. I mean, he would get free from man, from zone. He was a smart player, quick, fast, and had the explosiveness. And just playing with him, you learned a lot, just where he was going to be. And he was our main target, He was the guy on third down who you could throw to. He'd make the play. And just learning to play without him, first couple games was a little different.
Now, going to Waynesburg this coming weekend, is there any way that you have to prepare differently for a game on the road instead of being home at Harold-Bury Stadium? Do you take any different approach to it?
No, I don't see any different approach. I mean, there's more distractions, obviously, and long bus ride, but, it's you're playing on the same field against the same guys that you would at home, and I don't see a big difference.
Now, I've asked all the other players this when they've come on the show, but That new field at Harold-Burry Stadium just looks so cool, and all the players have raved on how they've liked it. What do you think of it? What do you think of the new surface?
I mean, quarterback-wise, it's great. You don't got to worry. When it rains, there's no mud. I mean, that's the biggest thing when you play on grass, get mud on the ball. I mean, that's huge. But with this new surface, rain's fine, and it's just great playing on, especially for your legs during practice and stuff. Great to practice on, great to play on.
All right, Kevin, thanks for being on the show, and good luck to you guys this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be back with Coach Hand to wrap it up on Coach's Corner after this.
How would you like to sit in a college classroom where you know everyone's name?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
At Westminster College, our students aren't just another face in a lecture hall of 200. They're people, individuals with a smile and a story eager to know you.
So the other day I was sitting around...
Learn the skills you need while having a close relationship with your teachers and classmates at Westminster. So if you too want to be known by name, check out Westminster on the web at westminster.edu.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, everyone. We welcome Coach Jeff Hand back to the hot seat. Coach, big game against Williamsburg coming up this weekend. Would you consider this game to be one of the defining points of the team, considering that we are halfway through the season and getting ready to wrap it down?
Well, I think that, we're just starting to heat it up. I mean, that's something that, we have to realize, and, the best is yet to come. And, this is a game that, we're looking forward to, and it's a game that, we know that we can win, but it's going to be against a very good quality opponent.
Now, I remember last season, Robert Heller was the star running back for those guys, and he just ran over that defense. But I understand he's not going to be on the team for the game at this juncture in the season. Do you guys think of that as an opportunity to capitalize, or do you think, wow, we wish we could have had another shot defensively to see what we could do?
Well, I think it's a mixture of both, but I think that if you're going to sway one way or another, I don't think it broke any of our defensive guys' hearts, knowing that they wouldn't have to tackle on Saturday.
That's a good way to put it. Now, as you guys get into the third game of the PAC conference this season, what do you guys feel like is your biggest necessity to improve upon as you get into more of these PAC conference games?
Well, we have to learn that every game, every series, every play, everyone needs to be a part of every game, and it's just really it's one of those things where if we play as a team, we're a good team, but in picking one side of the ball up versus the other, and that's when we're playing our best game.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll look forward to see what the Titans can do against the Yellow Jackets this weekend. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
And thank you guys for being with us. We'll be back next week with more Coach's Corner. Have a good one.
Now, for 9 years, GM and Buick have been one of Woods' biggest sponsors. The deal is said to be worth around $7 million a year. Now, here's the thing. The parting is reportedly mutual. They're both on par with this, shall we say. Tiger's agent says Woods wants to spend more time with his family. Meanwhile, a company that is not cutting costs, Citigroup, that was bailed out by your tax dollars, still going forward with the deal to give $400 million for the naming rights to the Mets' new stadium. And AIG still given $125 million to sponsor soccer team Manchester United. And that was our text poll today. What do you guys think? You got a problem with companies that were bailed out with your money, spending it on sports? And here are the final results. And no surprise here, 93% of you said uh-huh. 7% said no. You can also go to our blog and post your thoughts there, cnn.com/Robin. The Saints marched to victory in a shootout over the Packers. Playing in their first game in the Superdome in over a month, Drew Brees was on fire. 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. Aaron Rodgers, not so much. He was picked off 3 times, including twice by Jason David here. But look at this hit that Rodgers does on him. Saints roll 51-29. And lastly, Barry Bonds has put down his bat and picked up a gun. The former slugger is the new spokesman for Christensen Arms, a munitions company that specializes in high-powered hunting rifles. That's him on the company's website holding a buck. And that's a look at sports. Richard?
Citibank, $400 million optics, my friend. People will see this. What do they think?
And they might think of them in a different light.
Not positively. 93-7. You saw it for us. Thanks so much. Say It Ain't So. Barry Manilow writes the songs people don't like.
Everything you need to stretch out on long trips. Residence Inn. Everything you need to stay balanced on long trips. Residence Inn.
Discover a new calm for your sensitive skin. Aveeno Ultra Calming Moisturizer. This exclusive formula with natural fever fuel has the power to visibly soothe red, irritated skin in as little as 1 week. Be at peace with your skin with Aveeno Ultra Calming.
It's time for a card that can help you grow your business without growing your debt. A card that can give you the working capital you need, interest-free. A card that can earn you rewards to reinvest in your business. It's time for a card that's not a credit card. Meet the American Express Open Charge Card. To get the purchasing power millions of owners already have in their wallets, call 1-800-NOW-OPEN. American Express Open, calling all business owners.
100%. Chance you'll be up all night finishing the presentation. 0% chance you'd be up all night if you had used FedEx Office Print Online. FedEx Office.
Hello, I'm Patrick Cox, founder of Taxmasters. For years, I've been telling you that if you're being audited, have several years of unfiled tax returns, or the IRS is coming to your home or place of business, we can help.
The IRS auditor said we owed over $50,000. Taxmasters fought hard, and the auditor agreed we owed no additional taxes.
We'll get between you and the IRS. We'll make sure they treat you fairly and treat you with respect. Don't wait weeks for an appointment. Our former IRS agents and tax professionals are ready to talk to you now.
1-800-581-0437. Taxmasters, we solve your tax problems.
So, you know, most cities hand out a fine if you violate the noise ordinance, but the judge in one Colorado town thinks his alternative punishment is much more effective. Chris Vandervee from affiliate KUSA reports.
This is a way, I think, now that I look back, of teaching manners to people.
TNT! I'm dynamite!
Why the teenage members of Revolving Reverends got into trouble recently
In the anguish, in the shame,
is pretty obvious.
losing grips with reality.
We'll let them tell you the how it happened part.
What happened is that
It was my dad's birthday, and he asked us to play there.
we didn't keep track of time. We kept playing music.
And the cop station is like 2 blocks away.
So, yeah, that's that.
All right.
Judge Sacco says
So this is very serious.
he had no other choice.
This is a punishment.
These people should have to listen to some music that they don't like.
From Barney to Barry.
Particularly Barry Manilow. I think it's hard on the kids. I actually like the Barry Manilow stuff.
Should you violate the noise ordinance in Fort Lupton, you will get 1 hour, one really, really long hour of this. those who run the town say it's really cut down on the number of repeat offenders.
I want to choose my own music in my own house and not listen to my neighbor's music in my house.
A Chelsea morning, and the first thing that I heard, I was dancing with my darling.
As for the members of Revolving Reverends,
Okay, that ends our class.
who knows if they'll be back?
Yeah.
Of course.
All of us are gonna still rock.
More Barry, more Barry. This next piece of video you have to see to believe. Daredevil flew a jetpack 1,500 feet across a canyon. Name is Eric Scott. He was going about 75 miles an hour when he crossed the Royal Gorge in Colorado. It's more than 1,000 feet deep, and he was not wearing a parachute. It took about 21 seconds to cross the canyon. Kind of nerve-wracking, if you ask me. All right, President Bush has just arrived, Air Force One, all wheels down at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. President Bush there. He's there to have some lunch with some of the soldiers. It's a Thanksgiving tradition. The White House says President Bush also wants to thank the soldiers of the 101st Airborne Division, their families as well. He wants to thank for their service and their sacrifices. It's his third official visit to Fort Campbell. He's going to sit on down with them, have a meal, and talk to many of the soldiers. President-elect Barack Obama, he'll reveal more of his plan for the economy today, coming to the microphones again. That happens in about an hour. He's expected to talk about tightening the federal budget. But Showbiz Tonight's next.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card, too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare Supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare Supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-822-9894 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
Thanksgiving night, the heroes, the stars, and CNN's Anderson Cooper, CNN Heroes and All-Star Tribute, Thanksgiving night, 9 Eastern and Pacific on CNN.
Are you tired of